mirror and on my dresser, I have 21 declarations on my mirror, and every morning before I walk out of my bedroom, I stand there. I am well, I am happy, I am healthy, I am not negative. I surround myself with positive people. I am positive. I influence people. I make sure that I really go down that list and declare that and proclaim that over myself every single day, because thoughts become things. The more you speak it, the more it manifests in the physical realm. So when you continue to proclaim those things over yourself, it has to happen because you put it out there. And when you put it out there, don't retract it. Make sure that your words are always positive. Make sure that your words are always encouraging and uplifting, because your words have power and your words have the ability to form whatever you want them to form. And who said that?
Okay. Dancing beat. Hi everyone, I'm your best friend, back in town again. Hi everyone, I'm your best friend, back in town again. Let me get you on your dancing beat. Hi everyone, I'm your best friend, back in town again. Let me get you on your dancing beat.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Justin, the Vegan Savage, and welcome to Speech Therapy. This is going to be an amazing video, if I do say so myself, because we're going to gain tools to help us to really manifest things that we're thinking. Let it come into the physical realm. Let's get it out of our heads and let's see it tangibly. So if you saw the clip prior to me speaking right now, that was me at the DeSoto Civic Center in Texas at a Healthy Alternatives event. It was an amazing event. I'm not even going to sit here and try to regurgitate every experience that I gained while there, because it's one of those things where you had to be there to witness it. You had to be there to really get a feel of what was happening. An amazing event. The energy was out of the roof. And I end up sharing some things that wasn't even on my iPad to share, which is crazy. That's where I got the idea of speech therapy from. In the clip where you saw me talking about thoughts becoming things and about your words, I really gained that download while I was standing there talking. 95% of what I said during that speech was not on my iPad whatsoever. It is just crazy. And I still have the notes, so if anybody wants to challenge me on that, I can literally send it to you, because honestly, what I spoke at that event, 95% of it was not on my iPad to talk about whatsoever. So that's what happens when you get in the atmosphere, and the atmosphere is causing for you to go left, and you just have to follow the atmosphere that you're in when you're doing, anything as far as it pertains to speaking. When you're speaking, you have to make sure that your atmosphere, and I'm pretty much just diving into my topic, your atmosphere is conducive to what you say. So that means if I am surrounded by a bunch of people who are negative and who are always speaking negative things, then I need to change my atmosphere, because my thoughts are completely contrary to the atmosphere that I'm in. So I need to get out of that atmosphere and get into an atmosphere that is charged with positivity and uplifting energy, so that then when I speak, my words are not going into an atmosphere that is fighting against everything that I'm speaking. So we want to make sure that in speech therapy and dealing with our words, that our words are in an atmosphere to where it is charged, and that atmosphere will then charge your words and allow your words to formulate whatever you want them to form. And it's not hindered by, forces. It's not hindered by things that can come and try to snatch out what you are trying to speak. And so with that, we have to become very, very calculated, and we have to become very conscious of our words, because at the end of the day, what you say has the ability to either help you or harm you. And so it's one of those things to where when we are dealing with words, and when we're dealing with speaking things, you have to make sure that everything that you say is a positive thing. And so I hate when people say they have one incident in the day and then they just say, oh, I'm just having a bad day. You had 5 seconds of an incident that ruined that moment. Those few seconds was a bad moment, but you didn't have a bad day just because you had a bad moment in the day. So you want to make sure that in dealing with things, and even with dealing with, troublesome things, that your words are always uplifting, because at the end of the day, your words are able to formulate whatever you say that they are. And so when you say I'm having a bad day, that means you have that incident happen, and then later on in the day something else will happen, and then something else will happen, and then something else will happen. Why? Because you've already said that I'm having a bad day, when really you just had a bad moment that ruined that 5 or 10 seconds. But your day is still not bad just because you had a bad moment. So you want to make sure in dealing with your talking that your words are not hindered by yourself. You're not hindering yourself from becoming or achieving anything with you saying stuff that is negative. You have to set boundaries. Like I said, your atmosphere has to be conducive. You have to keep yourself in boundaries and in atmospheres that allow you to be able to breed positivity and to breed everything positive that you want to perform and that you want to manifest in your life. Because if not, you'll always be down, you'll always be depressed, you'll always be in situations that are not the best for you, because your words have to be spoken in an environment or in an atmosphere that is conducive to produce what you want them to produce. You can't just say stuff and then you have negative voices in your head. When I'm saying negative voices, negative people coming to you saying, oh, that's not going to work. You have to surround yourself by a whole different atmosphere in order to see change. And so a lot of times that means you have to be a lone wolf sometimes, and that's okay, because you have to create your own atmosphere, and you have to make sure that your atmosphere is going to be uplifting and is not going to hinder what you want to happen. And so this is why it really bothers me when I hear parents saying to their children stuff like, you just like your no good daddy, or you just like your stupid dumb mama. And so what you've just done now is formulated a seed in that child that will now produce the very thing that you hate. So in other words, you can't stand his no good deadbeat dad, and you just told him that he was just like his no good deadbeat dad. And so now that seed has been planted in him, and now he's going to now produce the very thing that you hate, because you told him, you spoke to him that he's just like his no good daddy. So your words now has begun to fester inside of him and has created a seed. And so his actions are going to follow the words that you've spoken. And see, children are defenseless to this type of word, so they cannot combat what you say at early ages. So now they have no other choice. It's like they have to formulate what you say, because they don't have a defense mechanism to refute your words. And so even with adults, that's why it's good for you as an adult not to hang around people that look at you and say, oh, you just stupid, oh, you just dumb, oh, you just one stupid person. You don't need to be around people like that. And when you hear people saying stuff like that to you, you have to quickly refute it, because if you don't, then your silence, if you just brush it off, your silence is consent to their words. And that means you are allowing now their words to take root within you, and then you will start patterning the very things that they said about you. So you have to check stuff at the door. You have to check people's words at the door. If you remember my last video when I was talking about somebody that was sending me, we was having a conversation, and I kept seeing over the period of time that I was getting all these insults. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is not cool. Let me start setting boundaries here, because at the end of the day, when you don't hurry up and check something at the door, that thing will fester on the inside of you, and then you will become what other people have said about you. And the way that you overcome that is when somebody says something negative about you, you make sure at that moment you check it and say, wait a minute, that's not me. I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb. I am smart. I am intelligent. I am somebody, and I'm not going to allow you then to come at me in that manner, because that is not who I am. You have to make sure that you are doing that, because if not, then that thing will fester on the inside of you, and your actions start becoming something that you never wished for yourself to become. And you don't know why it happened, but the reality is you've allowed people's words to get down on the inside of you and to take root in you, and now you are becoming what other people have said about you. And the thing is, we have the ability to become whatever we say that we can become, but a lot of times we don't use that power that is on the inside of us, because maybe we're too afraid. We are scared that it won't happen for us. We're scared that people will say all kind of stuff about us. At the end of the day, you have the ability to control your destiny. You have to become the commander in chief of your destiny, and the way that you do that is by speaking positivity over yourself every single day. And don't allow anybody to come and try to change that. You can't allow people to change that. And it's crazy, because I hear a lot of people, when somebody says something about them, they say, don't speak that over me. But the reality is, they can speak whatever they want to speak over you, but then you have the power and the ability to overthrow any words that anybody else say about you, because what is your life? And since it's your life, you have the ability, when somebody look at you and say, oh, you just stupid, or you're not going to be able to do that, you can look at them and say, I am going to be able to do that. I will do it, and I'm going to do it because XYZ. Don't allow people to really downplay your power. Don't allow people to downplay who you are, because we are all spiritual beings, and since we're spiritual beings, we have the ability to formulate anything in this natural realm that we want to formulate with our speech. We are a people that are very voice activated. Things that you say matters. Your words have the ability to form whatever you want them to form. And so you have to make a conscious decision to proclaim things over your life, and not just over your life, over your loved ones, that are able to take root and resident within them, so that their actions now become actions of positivity and not just another statistic. And so I've seen here recently, a parent that really downplayed their child's abilities and downplayed their child, and now their child is sitting in prison right now over things that they've done, because they was told that they was just like they stupid deadbeat dad, and the dad is in prison, and now the son is in prison as a byproduct of a parent telling them that they were just like their deadbeat stupid dad. And needless to say, that's what it is now. So you got a father in prison and a son that's in prison, which that destiny could have been avoided if there was a parent there that was speaking consistently positivity over that child's life. You will not be like your father. You're going to do better things. You're going to be greater. You're going to achieve things. You're going to be somebody. So you want to make sure, even as parents, that your words that you're speaking over your children are always positive and uplifting. And I've always said that the difference between a parent that has a child that is in prison, or just take the parents out for a second, a child that is in prison and a child that is doing well, is the influence of the parent and what they spoke over their children, and what they encourage their children to do, and what they encourage their children to become. And it's the same thing with you as an individual. The difference between you and the difference between somebody that is, well to do, or the difference between you and somebody that is less fortunate than you is your words. When you begin to speak things that are positive or negative over your life, then it somehow pulls your actions into it. It's like your actions have no use. It's like your actions have no choice but to go after the words that you've spoken. So if I'm sitting here speaking positivity over myself and saying, you know what, I'm going to be this business owner. I'm going to do everything that I've set out to do. I'm going to achieve every goal that I set out to achieve. What happens? My actions then has to mirror my words, because my words have been spoken in an atmosphere that's going to make my actions now conducive to the words that I spoke. And it's is going to make my actions to come into agreement with the words that I spoke. And now I am able now to put my words into action. So I'm not just saying I'm going to be successful. I'm not just saying I'm going to be this business owner, but since I've been saying it, now my actions are me putting together a plan and steps to become this business owner. So you want to make sure that your words are always powerful and always positive, and that everything that you say is going to be uplifting and is not going to make, you look crazy because you're saying stuff that is, that is of no product. You're saying things that is not producing any fruit. You want to make sure that you are fruitful and that your words are able to be put out and to be spoken out in an atmosphere that's going to undergird the words that you're speaking and then cause them to become things. And you don't just want to have a thought stuck in your mind, but don't be afraid to speak your thoughts. And if you're speaking your thoughts to people that are not in your corner and not supportive of your thoughts, then change your atmosphere. Your atmosphere is everything. Atmosphere has to do with everything. If you're in a negative atmosphere, then you need to get rid of that. If you are in, a crowd of people that you're not on the same wavelength, then you need to change the crowd, because at the end of the day, who you surround yourself with it matters. Who you surround yourself with, and the people and the crowds of people that you surround yourself with matters with your speech. People have influence on you that you will never even think about, because their actions somehow has the ability to then make you feel a certain type of way, whether it's positive or negative. But it is up to you. If it's negative, then you have to get yourself out of that environment and out of that atmosphere, and you have to make sure that you are not going to become a product of a negative atmosphere. And so this is why a lot of times for, parents that are living in, neighborhoods that are not conducive for a successful family to breed in that atmosphere, or it's not conducive for to have successful children in that atmosphere because it's full of drugs, gangs, and violence, and etc. If you're not able to get out of that atmosphere, then you have to create your own atmosphere within your house, and you have to declare and proclaim over your own family that we are not going to be a product of where we live. We may live here, but we are not going to become subjective to this atmosphere, and we have the ability to do that. Our words have the ability to really formulate and change atmospheres and change climates that are in our life. But you have to make sure that you are making a conscious effort to do so. And you want to make sure that every word that you speak is going to be uplifting, and that is going to be positive, and that you are proclaiming things that are able to formulate things in your life, that's going to formulate positive things in your life. Just because you're in a bad situation does not mean that you have to come subject to that bad situation and accept it. You have to make sure, because your words are only doing what you are saying for them to do. Your words are only what you say they are. So just because you're in a bad situation, and just because you're in an environment that you don't like right now, does not mean that your speech has to mirror your environment. If you are in that situation, then you have to make sure that your speech now is coming out of a place within you that says, I may be in a bad spot right now, but this is not where I'm going to stay. This is not my end. This is only a step stool for me to become better. And so in that, your actions now are changing from a place of coming subjected to your environment, and you are now coming up and saying, no, I'm going to change this environment is going to change. This atmosphere is going to change. Why? Because I am commanding it to change out of my mouth, and I'm not just sitting back and taking in everything that's being said around me. So you want to make sure that whatever that you're saying, that is positive. And I have a proclamation that I speak over myself every single day, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but some of them are: I am positive. I surround myself with positive people. I am an influencer. I am innovative. I am royalty. I behave as royalty. You say these things over yourself, and you begin now to behave like the words that you're speaking. And so that's why it's important that we are very careful and conscious of our words. Because if we are not careful and conscious of our words, we'll just say any and everything out of our mouths. And what we are saying, whether we want it to happen or not, is going to begin to formulate, and our actions are going to mirror what we are saying. And so that's why, when people say things in joking matter, I feel like a lot of times people say stuff in a joking matter to really get their point across how they really feel. But at the end of the day, if you have friends that are looking at you and saying, oh, you just one stupid person. Oh, you just one fool. Oh, you just a hoe, or whatever they're saying, you better make sure, although they are laughing behind it, I'm not a fool and I'm not a hoe. No, that boundaries. Set your boundaries, because at the end of the day, if they keep telling you that and you're not checking it, then you are going to begin to formulate every single thing that they said about you by default. Because when you do not allow that seed to, die before it roots in you, then you're just allowing it to be rooted in you, and you're not killing it before it roots within your soul. So you want to make sure that even in that, when you have friends that are saying stuff like that to you, you check it. No, no. I know that you feel like you are playing, but we boundaries. I'm not going to accept you continually saying stuff like that to me. And if they're a true friend, they'll understand, that, hey, you know what, I really shouldn't be saying that about you because I don't feel that way. So in that, you'll find out who your true friends are. And so that's why a lot of times, I don't really go with the crowd, or I don't really be around a crowd of people, because I understand boundaries, and I understand that everybody is not on the same wavelength that I'm on, and that's okay. You have to be willing to understand and accept that everybody is not going to be on the same page that you're on. But when you find those people that are on the same page that you're on, then be grateful, give thanks for it, and be happy that, hey, finally, somebody thinks the way I think, and somebody understands that we have to set boundaries around ourselves, and that we don't become a product of other people's words that are being spoken to us. And so, and I know I keep saying it, check the people's words that are check yourself, and then check the words that are being spoken to you. If it's negative, then you need to combat that, because if you don't, again, those words that people are speaking to you will fester in you by default. And the way that you combat that is to not allow them to continually say things to you without you checking it. Because if you don't check it, then you will become a product of what people say about you. And on the flip side, nobody can say anything about you, or their words cannot affect you if you're always speaking positivity over yourself. So what if somebody is saying, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the other? I don't accept that, because my words have already gone out before me, and I've already said that I am this, I am that, and I am the other that is positive. So their negative words have no effect on me, because my positivity have already gone out, and my positive words, because they're coming out of my mouth and they are concerning my life, my positive word has the ruling authority. So forget what you're saying about me, whether it's negative, with it being negative. Forget your negativity, because your negativity about me is not stronger than my positivity about myself. And once you realize that you have the authority to command your own life, then you will understand that regardless of what people try to say about me, regardless of what people try to do towards me, regardless of what evil schemes they may try to speak over my life, it's not going to work, because I've already proclaimed positivity, and my positive words have the ability not to just formulate what I'm saying about myself, but then they have the ability to then combat negativity that's trying to take over my life. And so with that being said, always be sure to make sure be sure to make sure that your words that are coming out of your mouth are positive, because when you begin to speak positive things, your actions will begin to mirror the positive things that you're speaking. And not only that, it will bring a mind transformation, because get this, you may not always feel like the positive things that you're saying, but your feelings are irrelevant because your speech is what has the power. So I can feel, depressed as a mug, and I can just really feel like I'm at the bottom. But as long as my words are saying, I am happy, I am joyful, this is going to be a great day, this is going to be an amazing day, my life is going to be amazing, and your life can be in shambles. But the more you speak it, it will cause your mind to shake, and it will cause your mind to transform. And now, although at the moment of you speaking it, you may not feel that way, but over a period of time, your mind will catch up with your speech. And when your mind catch up with your speech, your body has to catch up with your mind and your speech. So now you are in complete alignment with what you are saying. Your mind is in alignment with your body, and your body is in alignment with your speech. So everything that is happening in your life, it may not always be positive, but make sure that your words are always positive. And when your words are always positive, your words has the ability to shake everything else within you and to cause that to come in line. So at one point you may have felt like you was at the bottom, but because you kept proclaiming over yourself that you are happy, you are healthy, you are going somewhere, this is not the end of your life, you are going to make it through whatever, you may not feel it, and your feelings are irrelevant. Your speech is what has to go before you. And because your speech is always positive, it's going to cause everything else in your life to change. So you go from speaking it and not feeling it to speaking it and feeling it. So just make sure, and I feel like I'm preaching at this point, so I'm just going to cut this video off at the end. I already got yelled at preach one time before when I was doing my speech. So we want to make sure that our words are positive and that we are uplifting. So if you like this video, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on the notifications. Follow me on social media. I have all of my social media handles and booking information at the bottom here, so make sure that you take advantage of that. I am very interactive to the people that hit me up, so be sure to do that. I am going to be doing a part 2 of this, and part 2 is going to focus more on declarations, so be on the lookout for that on next Saturday. I will, of course, post my flyer on social media so that you can check that out. All right, thank you so much, and always remember to awaken your inner savage. Peace.